Miami Heat postseason basketball begins this Wednesday in Chicago in the play-in. They are the 10 seed. They will be traveling to Chicago to take on the 9-seeded Bulls on Wednesday. ESPN game. Bulls are actually 1.5-point favorites. Over-unders 218.5. I'm Nic Rohloff. We are going to preview this game and look through keys to victory, injury report, and prediction at the end, so stay tuned throughout. But I do want to get the temperature check of the Heat fans. Who you got? Do you guys think the Heat win this game, or do you think the Bulls win this game? I'll answer that question and predict the score at the end of the show, so stick around. But type MI for the Heat, type CHI for the Bulls, pin comment, get down in the comment section and get your voices heard. All right, before we get into the keys to victory, I did want to look at the injury report for each squad. 3 guys on the left for Heat, 3 guys on the right for the Bulls. Josh Giddey with a forearm injury, but he is expected to play. Lonzo Ball, who has been out for a couple of weeks now, he is likely going to miss this game as well with a wrist injury. Tre Jones is TBD. He's probably the most questionable for Chicago. He's dealing with a foot injury. For Miami, Kevin Love is on the injury report again. He's missed a lot of games for personal reasons. I wouldn't expect him to be on the bench for Miami. Nikola Jovic, who has been out for more than 5 weeks now with that hand injury, will not be playing in this one. The only way he possibly returns this season if the Heat makes a run into the playoffs and beyond. Pelle Larsson, who sprained his ankle last week, on the injury report. I don't know if he'll play. I give it a 50-50 chance that he comes back from a sprained ankle. I think it's also important to take a look at what happened this year when the Heat and Bulls met up. They met up 3 times, and it was a clean sweep, which is a concern from my perspective if you are a Heat fan rooting for the Heat to win this game and make the NBA playoffs. The Bulls won at home on February 4th, won in Miami on March 8th, and then won at home again last week in that pivotal April 9th game, which basically determined who was going to be the home team for this NBA play-in matchup. So are the Heat going to be able to break the streak of losing 3 straight to Chicago? I mean, the percentages say yes, because can you really beat a team 4 times? But maybe the Bulls really just are that much better than the Miami Heat. Let's get to the keys to victories now for the Heat if you want to see them win this game. And I think the number one key to victory is to flip the 3-point battle. Miami desperately needs to be out shooting Chicago from beyond the arc if they want to win this game. And it's not even that the Heat are a bad 3-point shooting team. They are not. They're actually top half in the NBA at shooting from beyond the arc. The problem is that Chicago is just really elite at that part of the game. Ready for this, folks? The Bulls score 39.3% of their points from 3. That is the 4th highest rate in the NBA. So they get up a lot of threes and they make a lot of threes because they shot 36.9% as a team from 3, which was the 9th highest points or percentage in the association. So they get a lot of points from beyond the arc and they make a lot of threes. So if you're the Heat defense, you really have to take away their 3-point shot, which is tough because Kevin Huerter can shoot it. Josh Giddey has shot it above 50% from 3 over the last 20 games. Kobe White's been going nuclear. You've seen Vucevic, Matas Buzelis even knock down some threes. So this is a really good 3-point shooting team, and the Heat have to defend the 3-point arc at a high level. Now, another advantage for the Bulls, which is why they win and have gotten hot over the last month, is that they are an elite 3-point shooting team. They also defend the 3 at an elite level. The opponent 3-point percentage going against the Chicago Bulls this season was 34.5%. That was the second best 3-point defense in the NBA this year. So let's just recap. The Bulls are a top 5 points per game from 3 team. They are a top 10 3-point shooting team, and they are the second best defensive team in terms of defending the 3. So this game will be won and lost at the 3-point arc. Now, if you are Miami, looking at some of these metrics, I mentioned they're a top half team, so they'll be able to fight fire with fire a little bit here. But if you do want to win, I think you have to clearly win the 3-point battle in this game. The Heat are the 13th best 3-point shooting team in the NBA this year, and they're actually 10th. You saw the Bulls at 4, the Heat at 10 in terms of the percentage of their points coming from beyond the arc at 37.2%. So it is going to be a fascinating matchup between which gives in. Will it be the Bulls' 3-point defense? Will it be the Heat's 3-point shooting or the Bulls' 3-point shooting? Whoever shoots the three the best in this game, I know you could say this is about a lot of games in the NBA, but I think that is going to likely determine who ultimately is advancing to the second play-in game on Friday night. But we do have this game coming up on Wednesday. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because we will be live here for a Heat vs. Bulls NBA play-in watch party. We are going to go live 30 minutes before scheduled tip-off. Game scheduled at 7:30 Eastern Time. We'll be live at 7, 6:30 Central Time. Be live at 6. Hit that sub button. Join us on Wednesday evening. All right, the number 2 key to victory for Miami. You cannot turn it over. And I know the first 2 keys to victory are borderline cliche. Win the three-point battle and don't turn it over. But when you look at what makes each team good and bad, it really is defined by these 2 metrics. The Miami Heat, surprisingly, this one actually shocked me, was 9th best in the NBA in terms of not turning the ball over. They averaged 13.6 turnovers per game, which is the 9th best in the NBA. It's a fascinating kind of statistic because we have talked a lot about the turnovers and the lack of a true point guard for most of the season and how when the Heat limit their turnovers, they win. When they turn it over a lot, they lose. I mean, that's standard NBA math here. But the reason why it's so important in this matchup is because how good the Chicago Bulls are in transition. The Bulls averaged 15.7 fast break points a game this season. That's the 4th best metric in the NBA. So we just looked at it. The Bulls are a top 10 three-point shooting team in the NBA. They're also a top 5 fast break team in the NBA. Now, the funny thing about that statistic of their points per game in transition is that they're not coming from the way you thought they would. You'd be like, oh, they force a lot of turnovers, they get out in transition. No. The Bulls only forced 12.6 turnovers a game this year. That is 28th in the NBA. So they actually don't turn you over, which will help Miami hopefully not turn it over themselves. But what does that tell you about Chicago then? Well, it means when they force misses, they grab the rebound and they run. They get Josh Giddey, the pass ahead. Kobe White, the speedy guard. Matas Buzelis. So if you miss a shot, you have to get back on defense right away. If you turn it over, you're only going to feed into their fast break opportunities more and more because they don't even do a lot of their fast break damage by turning you over. Even if you make a shot, sprint back on defense. If you want to win this game, you cannot turn the ball over because the Bulls are already going to get out in transition with their quick game. So you can't add more fuel to the fire if you're the Miami Heat. All right, 2 more keys to victory and a prediction coming up. But we are sponsored by Game Time, the official ticketing partner of the Heat Report. And if you wanted to go to an NBA playoff game in your local area, Game Time is the best way to get your tickets. Miami might not be playing in the postseason in terms of the playoffs, but if they were to make it, well, get your tickets with Game Time because they got last-minute killer deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. I find it so difficult to find good, easy tickets to get when I'm looking at most ticket service apps. Game Time is not that. It's very easy to browse on their app, which limits my time. They also got those last-minute deals that save you up to 60% buying. And if you're a procrastinator, well, they specialize in those last-minute tickets for any event, especially the NBA playoffs. Get a full panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, so you don't have to worry about sitting behind a pole, a stanchion, a board. You get to know your exact vantage point from your seat before you purchase. If the Heat don't make the NBA playoffs, well, make sure to take advantage and go to some local events in Miami if you're in that area. Chris Brown concert, Lady Gaga, and more. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, next key to victory here, we're getting into the nitty-gritty. I think Bam Adebayo, the Heat's best defender, he's been playing the 4 this year. He should be the one defending Josh Giddey. Why do I think he should be defending Josh Giddey? It's because Josh Giddey owns you. And it's kind of crazy to say that he has been this detrimental to the Heat in those 3 matchups that they played early on in the season because he almost was out of the Thunder rotation in the playoffs last season. But in the 3 games that Josh Giddey played against the Miami Heat this year, he averaged 26 points per game, 10.3 rebounds, 10 assists, in a shooting 58.3% from 3. And I'll go far enough to say he also shot 53% from 3 in those 3 matchups. Yes, in the 3 games he played, he had 2 triple-doubles and he averaged a triple-double. Giddey has been giving us issues all season long, but they've been defending him with smaller guys. They get the switches with a Duncan Robinson, with a Hero. Now you need to put your top dog because you need to shut this shit down, put Bam Adebayo on Josh Giddey. And it's not just a Miami Heat issue, by the way. I do want to give Giddey his props because since the All-Star break, in the 19 games that he played since mid-February, he's almost averaged a triple-double regardless, giving him the Bulls 21.2% or per points per game. 11 boards almost 10 assists, while shooting 50% from the field and 45% from 3. The knock on Josh Giddey was his inability to space the floor and hit shots from beyond the arc. But now that he is becoming a confident and good three-point shooter, his game elevates because he is a big guard. He can play make. He grabs boards. He's able to take advantage of mismatches inside, whether it be in the mid-post or low post or just driving to the rim. And so when you have to respect his three-point shot, it's a legit issue for opponents. But as good as Josh Giddey has been, Bam Adebayo is a top 5 defender in the planet. I know it's a weird matchup, and you waste Bam on Giddey, but I think it's necessary if you want to slow down the Chicago Bulls offense. And if you do that, this is where I think the starting matchups would go. I assume the Heat starting lineup will be Hero, Burks, Wiggins, Bam, and Ware, as it's been for most of the final couple weeks of the season. I think you put Tyler Hero on Kevin Huerter, Alec Burks on Kobe White, Andrew Wiggins on the rookie Matas Buzelis, because that's who Bam has been guarding, in at least the last matchup they played. Kel'el Ware on Nikola Vucevic, and then, like I mentioned, put Bam on Josh Giddey to try to neutralize his ability. And I know they're going to run a lot of pick-and-roll switches. They run a lot of pick-and-rolls with Giddey. I would be able to trust Bam to fight over it, make life difficult for Giddey. And obviously, when Davion Mitchell comes into the game, the off night, the point guard will be guarding Kobe White if those two are on the same floor together. But that's how I think it should start off on Wednesday evening. All right, the last key to victory is something Miami has struggled with all year long. You have to get ahead and stay ahead. The Miami Heat actually do a really good job of getting ahead. The problem is they can't stay ahead. So can they get ahead early on the Bulls and put them to sleep in the first half? We saw in that game last Wednesday. They got up 11 early on the Bulls, and then Chicago was able to fight back and take a 6-point lead at halftime, and it was really not close until the last couple minutes the rest of the way. But how about this? The Heat have a 33.3% win percentage in the clutch this year. What is clutch? It's a 5-point game with 5 minutes to go at any point. That's 28th best in the NBA. So they're a terrible team when it's close late in the regular season. The Bulls are an average team at this metric. 50% win percentage, which is 16th in the NBA. So it's not like the Bulls are an elite team in the clutch. It's just that the Miami Heat have had such issues closing games and finishing games this season. So if the Heat want to win this one, no doubt, don't let it get close. Get up by double digits and keep your foot on the gas and blow this team out if you don't want to avoid a late disaster, which the Heat have had, by the way, against the Bulls 3 times this season. In the first game against the Bulls where the Heat lost, the Heat led 103-94, a 9-point lead entering the fourth quarter. They lost. In Game 2, the Heat led by 11 entering the final 12 minutes. They lost. And then in Game 3 last Wednesday, the Heat led by 11 in that first quarter. I know it's only the first quarter, but it's still a double-digit lead. The Heat cannot hold a lead to the Bulls. Will that change this Wednesday night? We'll have to see. All right, so after hearing my keys to victory, the injury report, the history of this matchup this year, predict the score for me. I had you predict who's going to win, but now I want to see actual numbers in the comments section. Let me know your predictions for Heat Bulls and the NBA play-in. I'm going with the Bulls. I'm sorry, folks, I am. I think they win 112-107. Listen, the Heat this year are consistently inconsistent. Sometimes they look like a top 10 team in basketball. Sometimes they look like a team that should be picking top 3 in the draft. I don't know what team is going to show up, but it's hard to pick against Eric Spoelstra, Bam, and Tyler Hero in the playoffs, in the play-in. But the Heat just haven't been a good team. They haven't. And I think they ultimately lose. We'll see. But I do think Miami ultimately ends up falling in this game because the Bulls, I think, will force turnovers. I think they'll win the three-point battle. Two things Miami needs to do if they want to win. But I think the Bulls get the advantage, and they ultimately win the game. But, and I want to make this abundantly clear, I am not picking the Heat to lose because I want them to lose. I do want them to lose. I think it's the best case scenario for the Heat. And I know a lot of fans don't like this line of thinking, but in my opinion, even if the Heat were to beat the Bulls and then beat the loser of Hawks Magic on Friday night, they are losing in 4 or 5 games against the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're not going to beat Cleveland. They aren't. So why not set yourself up for more success in the offseason by having a lottery pick, having a second first-round pick via Golden State, being able to take 2 players in a good draft class and or trade those picks for a star. We already know Kevin Durant will be traded this offseason. Miami will be linked. You can use one of those picks to trade for KD. Now, ideally, in my opinion, I would keep the lottery pick and then trade the Golden State pick plus a future pick and some young players, whether it's Jaquez and Jovic or Jaquez and Wiggins for Kevin Durant. But either way, that's a different conversation for a different day. It sets you up for more success in the offseason to have an actual legit chance at competing in the 2025-2026 season, which is the main goal at this point, right? Well, either way, we'll be live for the game on Wednesday evening, so make sure you join me. We'll be live with Justin Honore as well, so hit that sub button and join us for the NBA play-in.